Welcome to the NDE World Podcast, where we explore the magical, mystical and spiritual world of near-death experiences. And now, Ashton Lewis and Daphne Lynn.
Welcome to the NDE World Podcast. I am your host, Ashton Lewis. And I have in the studio with me today the one and only, my lovely hostess, Miss Daphne Lynn. Hello, Miss Daphne Lynn.
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
How you doing? How are you today?
I'm doing absolutely wonderful, enjoying being here, being a part of this beautiful world that we are in.
Right,
And
absolutely.
I just want to say thank you. We love you to all the listeners out there. We appreciate each and every single one of you.
Absolutely, you beautiful souls. You're all so beautiful. Welcome, yes, welcome, welcome. Those who are here for the first time, welcome, and also those who are returning, welcome back, welcome back. And we always like to put a little plug here for the website before we open things up. But go to the website. That's NDE.world.
That's NDE.world.
Yeah, so check that out. And we got tons of episodes and podcasts and all kind of different things over there. So go ahead and check it out. Without further ado, kind of like ease on in today's topic of conversation, Miss Daphne. Would you like to go ahead and maybe read the question, and then we'll kind of start talking a little bit about it, comment it, and then we'll kind of get into the actual today's comments.
Yes, this is actually a continuation from a previous topic and episode that we started, I think, yesterday maybe?
I think this particular one, yes.
Yeah, okay. So, the question or statement on one of the platforms that we're a part of says, "My husband is just the Bible. Everything in the Bible, he says, is the total truth. He is so closed-minded. He doesn't believe in NDEs or spiritual encounters. He says that the devil is trying to control me. I wish I was with someone who shared my beliefs. I just love reading and hearing about NDEs. Thank you for sharing your stories."
Wow, we hear
Tough
this
time.
so much, Daphne, so much. And I can see both sides. And I understand both sides, and I appreciate both sides. It's like you and I were talking earlier. I've been through stages of my life where I was very, very passionate about the Bible. It's the only world I knew. But I believed in it and put all heart, soul, mind, and body, everything. I loved it, and I still do.
Yes, me as well, yeah.
I don't have any disrespect or disregard for the Bible, but I also, in my journey in life, like yourself,
In your
am
experience.
learning that there are so many more, spiritual books out there and holy books and, things like that you can learn so much from.
You can grow from.
And I think that, depending on where you're at and what's going on with your life, that we're all going to go through those different stages. And if you're with the Bible and say, like, for example, Christianity, if that works, then by all means, we love you and support that. That's your thing. But the thing is, as long as you're growing, because if you're really truly seeking your highest good, your highest spiritual self, and loving others and doing that, that greater deed, then by all means, yes.
Right, and we have to remember that we're speaking from our own experiences with Christianity and with different religious affiliated groups out there.
Right.
But in saying that, there are, when you do the research, over 4,000 different religions. We are speaking from experience from just the Christianity one. So there's many out there. So no matter what religion you are in, do the research on it.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of people haven't really thought about, they love the Bible, like I said earlier, I do as well. The challenge that I've seen with a lot of people is they haven't really looked, I really maybe even thought about, I don't know, where did that Bible actually come from? What is the history of that Bible? What did it take to get to that Bible? How did we end up with these certain Bibles? And why was there some taken out and some left in? And who was behind this? And when you really, that's where I'm at in my life, or I've actually kind of been through that. But all of us have. You'll get to a point, if you want to grow and advance spiritually, deeper than what you are. And because some people, they think that, like we had mentioned earlier on this earlier episode, that they think the Bible is, written, dictated by God himself, delivered by angels in here. But like Alan Watts says it, it's been delivered to us by the Catholic Church. So when you look at how it was all created, then you have to start questioning things, and that's kind of where I'm at.
I love yesterday's episode. One of the comments was, the Bible, the writers of the New Testament, the writings weren't written by Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, but according to, so it was written by someone else.
Yeah,
and also, think about this, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years later, you take and you write down a sermon you had in church that was a month ago, a week ago, last Sunday, or Wednesday, whenever you go.
And you're going to write it down word for word.
So you can see how things can be lost and misconstrued and twisted and just totally messed up.
Well, let me ask you this. If something can change within 30 or 40, 50 years, how much can it change in 300 years?
Ooh,
how much can it change in 1,000 years? How much can it change in 2,000 years? How much can it change?
Better put your boots on.
Y'all put your boots on. It's gonna get deep.
That's right. It's going to get deep.
Put your thinking caps on,
That's
open
right.
your heart up, and listen.
Yes, you got to really think about this stuff. So anyway, back to the question of today's episode. Now, that's why I'm looking at, I can understand where the husband's coming from, but you got to be careful in your approach, because you can't be so narrow-minded and narrow-sighted that this is the only way, because that's the shallowness on your part, So anyway, I can understand where he's coming from, but I also understand and can relate more now to the wife that's, posting the question here about, hey, look, she actually had a near-death experience. She's been to the other side. She's had this, these awesome phenomena that's happening that, you can't even put in words in a book or something like that. So she's got a whole different experience for her world, and really in life in general, I guess. So it's hard, and we hear that a lot of people get a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say headbutting from family members and friends and things like that. When they come back, there you go, flag. When they want to come back and share their spiritual experience, So now it's kind of causing conflict within her relationship, because she's feeling one thing and he's, saying something else. But what about the part there where he's using the psychology because she's having this experience like tens of thousands of others, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions, then what about this part where he's saying, well, it's the devil, and calling her the devil, and the devil's making you do that? What kind of mind
control
does that put a person under?
Exactly.
When you're telling them they're sinners, they're worthless, everything you do is of the devil, where's your outlet? What can we do as human beings that's not going to be some kind of curse? Because that's all this is. It's curse. Gospel, God, spell.
Yeah. Really?
When you really think about that, we're not even going to go down that avenue, but you've been there. You know what I'm talking
wizardry.
about. That's right. You'd be surprised.
Legalese. I mean, come on. It's all in everything we do. Our words are spells.
Yes.
That's why so many of the ancient holy writings say that the tongue is powerful, that words are alive. You speak life, you speak death into things.
Words are alive. That's right. They're powerful too.
We have to realize that and get a hold of that thing, because when you can send blessings forth instead of cursings, I mean, even in our jesting, we have to be so careful, because words are alive. They are spells. Why do you call it spelling in school? You're learning how to put spells.
Yep.
Yes. I mean, really stop and think about where things come from, where they originate. How does it apply to you? What can you do to change it?
Very good. Very good advice. Yes. And it all starts with you guys. Starts with you.
Exactly. It starts with self. No one else can do it for you.
Then, regardless of what you believe,
Right.
in that regard. But think about it, though. If so many people says Jesus has my back, but like Yeshua says, there's nobody can do anything for you unless you do it. You're the one that's going to have to make that change. And that's the point.
And that was his life teaching, is to teach you, to help you to understand your own divinity. He knew who he was, and he was helping to awaken masses.
Yeah.
All of the masters that came, and yes, there are many of them out there.
Yeah.
There's always been messengers to help awaken us as to who we are.
Right.
To help us to realize our own divinity.
Very good. Very good. Well, let's go ahead and jump into the actual comment here.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and read this, and it says that, and this is a quote. This isn't us saying it. I'm saying this quote. So
these are the comments.
Here's your disclaimer.
These are the comments within this post.
Yes.
So yes.
Okay, here we go. Your husband is wrong. Sorry, but he is. Men wrote the Bible. And when men put their hands on anything, they tend to corrupt it.
What we were saying earlier.
There may be bits of truth in it, but there's also a lot of BS. Many NDEers say that God or source consciousness says it did not dictate the Bible and does not ascribe to any one particular man-made religion. Don't try to gain your husband's acceptance. Just find your people. Speak your truth and embrace the gift that you were given. You were very lucky to have been to the other side and have seen the truth. Use that as a guide to live your life in love.
Yes.
That's sweet. I like that.
Yes.
Good advice. Good advice.
Yep.
All right, comments.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of touching on this earlier, or we did in the podcast yesterday as well, or the episode that we did yesterday as well. It says, whatever men touch, we tend to corrupt. We were saying the twists of things, the misinterpretations, think about the time that it took to compile the holy writings of the now canon.
Yeah.
So, anytime man puts his hand in something, it's usually not the best of outcomes.
Absolutely. And keep in mind, and I share the same view, I tell it to everybody, I do believe that there is divine wisdom throughout Scripture. And, all throughout of it. But I do not believe it is the one and all.
Yes. That's the way this person brought it out. There may be bits of truth in it.
Right.
But there's also a lot of BS, which belief system or the other way.
Yeah.
You make the call on that one.
Yeah.
I'm calling it BS, belief system.
Belief system. Everything is BS.
Change.
It really is. BS and SMU. So we'll leave with that.
And I love, I love the way that this person brings it out, that God or source consciousness, that great energy that is, says through many different channels and books out there that Neil's book, The Conversations with God, is one that comes to my mind, says that it did not dictate the Bible.
Right.
And does not ascribe to any particular man-made religion.
Right.
That's one thing we have to realize, that man-made religion per se, organized religion, does not continue over into what we call the next life, afterlife. But we're finding out
there's really no such thing as afterlife.
Life is life. It just changes form from where you are now.
Sure. It's just part of the experience, and going and growing and changing and learning and expanding,
And another point from this that I appreciate is don't try to gain your husband's acceptance. That is one thing that we have tend to do as humanity, is people please.
Yeah.
Try to please everyone else and deny yourself. Yeah. We need to realize we need to start with self. Yes, exactly. That way,
love yourself, forgive yourself, work on yourself first, and then you can love others.
Be who you are. Don't let anyone change you and say they don't like this about you, because if they love you, they're going to love you for exactly who you are and accept you for exactly who you are. The good, the bad, the ugly. I mean, that's just the way it is. And they're not going to try to change you, because once they try to change you and you do that, then you're not the one that they fell in love with to begin with. You've become something that you're not to please somebody else. And we can't do that. We have to get away from that.
Yeah. You have to be true to you.
Yeah,
you know?
be who you are.
Yeah, and back on the subject of religion, most religions, even in their writings, will tell you that their God is the only God. It's the true God, and they are the chosen. And a lot of other people, if you don't accept their particular structure, then
You're condemned.
you're going to be condemned or doomed some kind of way. That's in a whole lot of different religions. You'd be surprised.
It really is. Oh, yeah.
And it's in their books.
Right, yeah.
And there's a lot of conflict and there's a lot of hate between people on this earth because of their religious beliefs.
Yes.
So that tells you right there, it's not of something pure and holy or pure and...
Not of the divine.
Yeah. You have to learn how to look at the world through the eyes or the filters of that everything is man-made around us. A way you can look at it, guys, okay? And when you're trying to look through the veil or the illusion of the world that we're in is, what did you come into this world with? Okay?
Yes.
Did you come into this world with a Bible? Did you come into this world with, the Quran? Did you come into it with the Bhagavad Gita? Did you come in with
Vedas?
The Vedas? Did you come in with it, whatever? No.
Right.
No. You came in with everything that you need. You are a built-in system. A lot of people don't understand that.
All
they don't
you have
get
to
that.
do is what's said in many writings out there.
Yeah.
Just remember. Just remember.
I think probably somebody that gets it close, probably some of the closest that I know of, it would be the Buddhists. They teach and preach I wouldn't even say preach, but they're more into the natural way on how to live and be the best human being that you can be.
Mm.
And when you look at the teachings of the real Yeshua of history, his teachings were so in harmony with Buddhism, even with a lot of today, like with the NDEs and stuff like that. He taught more of a Buddhism type of structure, not a Christianity structure. So, but just ask yourself, you come into this world with nothing, so just keep that in mind. You got everything you need here, but you've got to acknowledge that, Mother Earth will provide everything for you as well. You need to feed off of her breasts, like Jesus said, in the Gospel of the Nazarenes. But when you learn how to do that, he says, if you can learn how to do that and, get out and move as much as you can and get out and ground as much as you can, get as much sun as you can, get as much fresh air as you can, get as much live, raw food, everything that's alive, you can create a temple that you're going to be on a whole different level. Trust me, I know. The challenge is sticking with it and keeping it going. That's going to be your hardest discipline. But trust me, it's all worth it. Anyway,
exactly.
Moving right on along. Would you like to take the next one, please?
Sure. Okay. It says, sounds like he's insecure, projecting his doubts and fears onto you. He should be insecure if he puts all of his faith outside of himself into a book, holy or not. Maybe it's a spiritual test for you. It's a good opportunity for you to go deeper into yourself and your own spiritual progress, trusting what you know to be true, privately releasing your own spiritual experiences regardless of what anyone else thinks. It can be your own secret. When we feel secure in ourselves, we don't try to persuade anyone else to agree.
I love that.
Yeah, very good comment.
It is. It is very good. Thank you. I like this. He should be insecure if he puts all of his faith outside of himself and into a book, whether the book is holy or not. Your key is yourself. You have to find the key to everything in life is going to be within yourself, not outside of yourself in a book. You can use these books as guides, but the truth is the secret is within.
It really is, yes. I mean, and that is what we have to come to realize. We're throwing all of our faith and beliefs and everything in an external source for our own quote unquote salvation, when salvation comes from within. Salvation is not a actual thing that you need. There's not anything you need to be saved from.
Let me ask you, that's right. Did you come into this world like that?
Right.
No. And you can't buy the original sin story either. You got to be careful where that came from and what that's all about. No. That's only to prove that you knew, or not to prove, but to accuse you because of the agenda that you're worthless sinner, So
right. It had to be put in there to create the doubt within the humans, because we tend to fear put man-made fears upon ourselves, take that in, and lowers your vibration and your realization of who you are.
That's right. It depletes your power, and they feed off of that fear. They feed off of that.
Yeah.
Think about that. Wow. Now,
I like the
Go
way
ahead.
this person brings out, it's a good opportunity for you to go deeper into yourself and your own spiritual growth and progress, trusting what you know to be true.
that's a good thing for everybody.
Yes, yes, yes.
Now, can I, with all due respect, ask anybody out there who believes in Jesus, do you know that what he said was true? Do you know that all the thing written in the Bible about him is true? Do you know this? I'd put everything and state everything I've got out on it. That absolutely not. Exclamation, exclamation, exclamation. And I would say that for any human on the earth today, nobody knows. It comes down to your belief systems. What do you believe? What do you put faith into? Faith and belief. They're both of the same words. They're both from that same Greek word, pistos, and pistuos. That's one's an adjective, one's a verb. I mean, a noun and verb. One's, faith is you. Faith is really a knowing.
Right.
Not that you imagine and you just gotta. Okay, I just gotta have faith. It's not, no, faith is really a knowing. I like how Jordan Maxwell used the
floor
analogy
not
of the
gonna fall
floor.
out from under. Yeah.
Yeah, faith is knowing that floor is not going to fall out from under you. You know that. Okay, so it's almost a knowing, but faith
Right.
and belief are the same word. So, and they both go hand in hand. And one's an action word.
Right.
It's a lifestyle. What you believe as an individual is reflected in your lifestyle and how you do things. So, okay.
It really is.
Moving right on along, Miss Daphne. Any more comments on that one before we?
Yes, there is. I like the very end sentence on this. It says, when we feel secure in ourselves, we don't try to persuade anyone else to agree.
I love that.
Yes.
Let's just take that down for a second. Now, I break that down if you don't mind, because I remember we read that a while ago. But
That knowing, that feeling secure in yourself.
yeah, and I love that part there. Think about that. When you get to this level of spirituality and this awakening for enlightenment, for lack of words, think about that like this person says right here. You don't have to persuade anyone to believe what you believe. You don't have to curse anyone and condemn them
Not believing the way.
for not believing what you think they should believe, and just because somebody doesn't agree with you, they're cursed. No, you guys don't have it right. You're basing everything off of a book and what the church has created and told you, So just, I would be careful. Like I said, as long as it's taking you to a loving person and loving all of others, then by all means go for it, And there are many, many good people out there that their religion is definitely benefiting them, so.
Oh, yeah. Most definitely.
However, now, if it's causing harm,
If you're stagnant, move along.
yes. Would you like to take the next one there, Daphne?
Sure. It says, right now, it's his passion, his motivation, his focus, his source of determination. It's also his journey. We all grow from life experiences, too. No point in trying to change his mind. Only he can do that himself. The minute he sees what real love is capable of and what more is out there, he'll let go of the Bible and focus on what's more important. Love your neighbor. Tell him about the author of Hebrews who wrote that we are to let go of the elementary teachings of Christ, unlearn them, and mature on to other things, all in its due time. Wise advice.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So I love how this person, they're not bashing the husband because he's, he believes in the Bible. Like I said,
Right.
I've been there. I
have
understand
to.
his passion.
Yes. And like this person brings out, that the passion, the motivation, his focus, and his journey. We all grow from life experiences, and that is his life experiences right now.
Have patience dealing with others. Now, if you're in a situation where it starts to get harmful or, to you or your family, your health, whatever, then get out of the situation. But the point is here, let's say, for example, while you're dealing with this person and you're doing research and you've got all kind of evidence, you've got all kind of support, you've got all kind of a gigantic foundation, even personal experience and things like that. You've got so much more to stand on. And you've done research on a lot of this. lost, I wouldn't say the lost books, there's no such thing as lost books, but, the non-canonical and all of these other spiritual things like that.
Spiritual writings, yeah.
You may know a lot more than your mate, but you don't want to take that and, like use that as a weapon against them. And, hey, I know more than you, and this is what this says, or I'll study that. Because what happens, it's like it's right out here. The more you try to convince somebody something, a lot of times they're going to be putting up a wall. And once that wall starts getting up, it's going to be hard to get through.
Right. It has to resonate within these people, something about it. I mean, it's not something, if you're trying to be preachy about it, that's when walls goes up, because the spirit can't flow if you're both not on the same page. It's going to resonate when it resonates, and when those walls go up, there's no getting through.
There is something that comes to my mind, and I've always been fascinated with it. I've also dabbled with it, and still every now and then as well. But I've never mastered the skill, but I can, and you can as well. Any of you guys out there, it's really something like any other thing. You got to just work on it and practice it and get good at it. But we have to understand is that to get through to another human being, you don't want to come off preaching and coming off like an authority figure or anything like that. The best and easiest way to get through to another person to keep their guard down is tell stories. A lot of you masters always did this. They told stories, they told the parables, the metaphors, the similes, analogies. They taught, because this is what goes to the person's spirit, and it bypasses that conscious wall, you see. So if you can get good at just telling stories, but include their situation in that story without saying, hey, guess what? They'll pick up on it. Their subconscious will pick it and make sense out of it, but they won't feel the threat of the attack.
Right, that's what I was going to say. You could be telling the story about them, but not using them as the direct source, telling it about somebody else, but it be in relation to whatever they've experienced.
That's the idea.
And then, because it's a story about somebody else, there's no walls going to go up. It's going to resonate. It's going to get through to the soul, to the psyche of the person instead of the ego.
Yes, and people will remember a story or a joke or something way quicker than they'll remember going somewhere and just talking to somebody, or somebody coming and trying to preach something on them or something like that. Yeah. Now, a lot of times, if you are really, really close to a person, could be like somebody you're seeing, or an either mate or husband, wife. Could be a workmate or somebody just a really good friend you trust. A lot of times those people can be, really persuasive, and, some of your thoughts and stuff like that, and they can kind of slip their belief systems in on you as well.
Right.
And can influence you to maybe look into their belief system or their religion or something like that. So, that happens. And you have a lot of religions out there, they'll proselytize, they'll go out and, knocking on doors and inviting people to their church and things like that,
And you think about it, I mean, it comes from, the church taking over and stamping all the enlightened ones out and saying this is the way it's going to be. And they said, you go and you make disciples. You go and you bring people into this. So it's put into our mind, our psyche, our ego from the start.
Yeah.
You don't have to make disciples. You have to be an individual, realizing you're one with everything, so that you can be enlightened and enriched in your life in knowing that, without having to feel that you have to bring somebody into your belief system.
Yeah, because you weren't put here to be, pushing your beliefs on anybody.
Let everybody be
who
they are.
You are here to experience. That's it.
Yes.
Experience what it's like, And that's why we have to be careful with our belief system. And I'm even working that out myself. Because,
I'm still working on myself.
I'm not going to throw my age out there, but I've been here a little while.
Before. It's okay.
But the point is, when you really start getting into some deeper spiritual things in life, you realize when you get to really start getting into some really deep meditations, you realize just how many belief systems that you have adopted along the way, all of your life since you was, a little child growing up, that has created and shaped the person that you are right now. And so part of you getting to your core is to acknowledge and, ask yourself these questions, why do I believe that? Where did that belief come from?
Yeah.
Was it school taught? Am I acting like my mom? Am I acting like my dad? Is this something that, I grew up with? Did I learn it? If it's empowering, then by all means keep going with it. But if it's something that's disempowering or holding you back or restricting or whatever from growing to be the best version of you, then, question it. And
Right.
if you don't need it, get rid of it.
Exactly.
And the point is we need to get rid of all of our disempowering belief systems, especially like, hey, it's me and you're you, and
Separation.
they're them, and we've got to get out of that separation,
The comps, the
duality.
robbers, the us, the them, yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the most important things I think that I can recommend to anybody. Once you grasp that concept of that oneness, that whoa, you are connected to everything in life. We are all one, and it doesn't take religion to tell you that. You just have to be the best that you can be and do the best that you can do. Love all, harm none. It's that simple. Nothing else.
Yes.
That's it.
It is.
Everything else is man-made constructs. Everything else is, like I said, BS. All belief systems,
That's right.
So, moving on along, this person says that he who knows speaks not. He who speaks does not know.
Oh, I know that quote.
I love that. Every experience is personal and should be shielded from critics and religious, quote-unquote, truth tellers.
Yes, I like this. I think this is one of the Lao Tzu quotes.
It does sound something like that, or
He who
Confucius
knows
or something.
speaks not. He who speaks do not know. I mean, there's wisdom in that. I mean, it's that if you want to look at it like this, it's that duality and that realizing you're both. You can do both at the same time.
Well, yeah, at the same time, people who are wise, most of your people, the wise people, aren't the ones running their mouths. Every wise person I've ever met or ever known, they're not big talkers. They keep their mouths shut, and and they'll share something with you if you ask them, or maybe in a conversation or something like that. But they're not the ones out just babbling and running their mouth. Not my experience.
Oh, yeah.
Now, like it says, those who are out babbling and running their mouth, hey, this is what it is. You're going to die. You're going to be cursed. This is
They don't know.
They don't know.
Yeah.
And that's what that's what this proverb means right here. He who knows speaks not. Why do you think there are the underground worlds, as far as like the I'm not even going to name the groups, but there are the underground spiritual groups that aren't in the mainstream. They're more the esoteric, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a bunch of them, so I don't want to throw any names out right now, but a lot of them are. So,
And they're enlightened.
yes.
But they're condemned as something evil and you shouldn't have any part of. I mean,
Yeah.
everything is so twisted in our world. And when you really go to doing the deep research on this and finding out that most of what you've been taught in your life is a lie,
Yeah.
you have to go in and do a rewire, people.
Serious rewire.
I'm speaking from my own
a
experience.
110 up to a 220 upgrade or something,
I remember my awakening a few years ago. I was like, wow, what if everything I've ever been taught is a lie?
Yeah.
And coming to
It's a
find
good
out,
starting point.
90% of it or more
It is.
is.
Yeah.
That's why you have to dig deep to find out who you truly are.
Yeah.
And live and be who you truly are without the external sources.
Yeah. So that's kind of like what it's saying here. Those
Yeah.
that, like I said, that they're on the low. They're not out talking and broadcasting. They're keeping that on the low. The real wisdom of the world.
Yeah.
Those are far and few in between, but they're
Because they
in
feel it's
underground
something
groups.
that they have to hold on to. And if they shared that with the world, where would our world be?
Yeah.
I mean, really, you have to awaken the masses. And they're holding it, controlling that.
Yeah.
That's the sad part of it.
Yeah. It should be wisdom shared with all. You know.
All for
But at
one,
the
one
same
for all, the
time,
Musketeers always said.
It's kind of like a catch-20. What is especially in today's dumbed down world, going to do with this kind of knowledge? Now, the flip side of the coin, well, would we have a dumbed down world if all this knowledge has been up, before the church came in? When you understand, guys, the Christianity, the church, when it came in and it took over and began to slaughter the world with the Crusades and the actual Inquisitions, all that stuff. Do your research. A lot of people, true spiritual mystics and really what we would call believers and true Christians, not the church Christians, but the enlightened ones. Let's leave it at that. Whatever you want to call those guys.
Right.
They all had to go underground. They had to go undercover because the church was out to slaughter anybody and everybody that did not accept Christianity as the world religion.
Stamped them out.
Yeah, they literally. And when you look at the torture that these people have had to go through for that, you'll understand why a lot of these people had to go underground. So that's what it's saying here. Those who really know speaks not. So they're not out running their mouth, okay? Because you got the ones who think they know, and they're out doing all the talking and everything, but that's why you got the world in the shape it's in. But I like how you said it all should be for everybody, especially if it's constructive stuff,
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Okay, well, Daphne, would you like to take the next one, please?
From experience, let him have his beliefs, you have yours. Ask him to kindly keep his negative and discouraging comments to himself and let your journey be your own sacred spiritual journey. Just like he wouldn't like someone to attack him for what he believes, he should have the same respect for you and what you believe. I would also advise not discussing your beliefs or your spiritual journey with him. Let him be the one to come to you if he has questions, and even then, tread lightly. If you feel the need to divulge, find some like-minded friends or people and go to them instead. You would likely find it to be much more supportive avenue.
Very good. This has a lot of wisdom in it.
Yeah.
It really does. So let's break it down. I'm almost line by line, starting off.
Go ahead.
From experience, okay, it says, let him have his beliefs, you have yours. And that's wisdom for the whole world.
Yes.
And it kind of touches base here. It says, ask him to kindly keep his, negative, discouraging comments to himself. And you keep yours to yourself. Mm-hmm. And let your journey be your own sacred spiritual journey.
There's so much beauty in that. Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, so just
letting
that
each
alone,
individual be who they are. Yeah.
That's right. There's a lot of good people out there that means well, with their with what they're doing and what they believe in. But there's ways you have to deal with it when you are dealing with others, especially in relationships. Like it says here, keep it on the low. Don't talk to them about it.
Right.
Keep focusing on your walk.
Your own walk.
Keep being the best person that you can be. And even if he does bring something up, keep it on the low. You don't have to feed into it.
When you can realize that even though you're separate, you're still one. That's the divine dichotomy. And when you can realize that you are an individuation of divine experience in life here, and so is that person. And when you can look at that external as God as well, that divine source energy as well as yourself, then things start to shift and you can live as one and love as one a whole lot easier than separation of you believe this way and you need to believe this way or vice versa. However it is, realize that you are one and that person is having an experience as well. Let them be who they are.
Exactly.
You're going to be who you are.
Absolutely.
But realize you're both source energy.
That's right. And have that mutual love and understanding, respect for each other, for every other soul here on Mother Earth. Now, to go with that thought, if you're feeling the need, because that can be really draining. It can be a negative effect on the psyche and the spirit when you're dealing with a negative person, a mate, a family member, a friend, whoever. That negativity is an energy and it will mess with you. So, like this person brings out here, just find people who share your same beliefs and things like that. Yeah. That's kind of like what we've done. We've joined a lot of groups. You can go online and join a lot of the actual Facebook groups. I'll just throw it out there and find something that you're into and that you like, and just do some searches and there's tons of groups out there, so you can find people that support you.
I mean, there's all kinds of
and share your same beliefs.
Yeah.
That's what I like about this group here. You can see the harmony with all these comments and stuff like that. This, like I said, this is not our comments. We're just sharing comments with everybody. But you can see the harmony there, where this is all coming from. Well, that's because these are all like-minded people from a group that supports this kind of stuff. And that's all you got to do. Just find the group that supports what you believe.
Right, because they have had the experience and the know. So it's a collective. And that's what we are as a humanity on this planet. We have to get back to that oneness. Yeah. Realize that become like-minded. I mean, there's a lot of scriptures out there, a lot of canons, the holy writings that say, be of one mind. So when we can do that, there's going to be more harmony in everything.
Yes. Well, I tell you, we've got time for one more, Miss Daphne. Let's go ahead and take care of this last one right here. It says, do not fall for it. You need acceptance, not judgment. People spend their lives using God's word as a sword and a way to judge others. We are to love one another. Our review comes with the package of NDE. I love that. Our good or bad actions will judge us. We are to love, love, love.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful one to end this episode with, because this person gets it, I get it, and there's many others out there that do too. But that's it. We just have to accept and love each other.
Yeah, very well said. Very well said. And I like how it
without
says
judgment.
That's the key. We have to understand that how dangerous judgment is.
Condemnation.
You know, and not only is man okay with judging everybody, but they've created a God that judges everybody as well.
That's going to judge everything and everyone.
Yeah, and condemn and curse. And that's just not from my understanding, like this person says here, you know. When you get to the other side, I think they did a little plug here for the life review. Like it says here, our review comes with the package of the, you know, when you cross over.
Oh, yeah. You get to see
you're going to have to deal with all that judgmental mindset that you've had, and you know, or even that people has had towards you and all. But it's not a good one. It's not a good state to be in. It's not a good mindset to adopt. You don't want to be judgmental about anything. You know, use judgment as a wisdom, in a sense, to judge your walk. You know, should I go this way? Should I? Maybe should I? You know, do this thing over here, or should I listen to that? Should I, you know, that you make those judgments for yourself on which way you go. But as far as anything outside of you, that doesn't belong to you. It's not for you to judge.
Right. You know, and I've got this little comment to say on this as well. Okay, this person says, we spend our lives using God's word as a sword. Stop right there.
That's true.
What is a sword? A sword is a weapon.
Yeah.
What do weapons do?
Destroy.
Exactly. We're spending our lives destroying each other because of a belief system.
Yeah. And using a book to do it.
Yeah. There's no good that can come of that.
No, it can't. And that's a good point to go ahead and wrap it up on. Yeah, thank you for bringing that out. So
that spirit wasn't me.
Yeah, so just there's a reality factor out there, and the reality is that spirituality and religion, you know, they have some things that they can share, but for the most part, they are opposing forces, you know. So religion, a lot of people get into, and those who mature will mature right on out of religion, straight on into a higher form of consciousness, spirituality. Yeah. Whereas some people will get into religion, and that's it. They found their one and all, and they're comfortable there. And that, if that makes them a better person, by all means, go for it. You know.
And you know, I know several people that are that way, and it's just not their time for growing. And that's why we do what we do to help awaken the masses. You know, everybody is on their own individual walk. I get that because I've been there. But when you can really unify and understand that there's more than what we've been taught out there, that's when you can grow. Yeah,
absolutely. And when you can break free from the chains of religion.
The truth
shall set you free.
That's right. Woo!
Perfect. Okay, guys. Well, I'll tell you what, on that thought, let's go ahead and wrap things up, Daphne. And we may do another episode or two. Yeah, we probably can do at least another one, but we'll see if we can get a couple out of it. But we'll go ahead and carry this on to another episode. So
sounds great.
Meanwhile, guys, go over to the website NDE.world for more information, and check up on all the good stuff that we do there. And any comments or anything like that, feel free to touch base with us. We'd love to hear from you guys.
Yeah, go on the contact us and let us know your thoughts, your comments. If you want to share your experience, just make a suggestion. Go on that contact form and reach out to us. We love, love, love hearing from you guys. And thank you for all your comments and suggestions, for your sharing your stories. We love you so much.
Well said. We love you so much. May peace be with you all. Until next time.
Y'all let your light shine.
For information about the NDE World Podcast, visit nde.world. That's nde.world.